into investing.
Sure.
Let's say hypothetically, I have $3,200 to my name, and I don't want to pay Ice Cube to sing me Happy Birthday on Cameo. What should I do with that $3,200 that I have saved up? Let's start the journey.
Well, starting there, clearly you have no priorities. But if truly you don't want to hire Ice Cube, then the next best thing is it goes into VTSAX.
What is VTSAX?
It is Vanguard's total stock market index fund.
Okay.
It means that you now own a piece of every publicly traded company in the United States. And everybody in those companies, from the factory floor to the CEO, is now working to make you richer. It's a broad-based, every company, low cost, because it's an index fund, investment. And that's all you need. You don't need all that complex stuff that Wall Street loves to talk about.
Okay, but I have a boyfriend or I have a girlfriend and they're telling me I should get a financial advisor. I have a cousin that makes a lot of money on Wall Street and they're saying I need to go to Morgan Stanley. What do I tell those people?
You tell them that you're investing in the simple path to wealth, which is low-cost, broad-based index funds.
The tax code has gone from 400 pages to 4,000, and that extra 3,600 pages are to turn rich people into super rich people. Now, the myth around taxes is the following, that rich people don't pay their taxes. Actually, the sort of rich pay a disproportionate amount of taxes. So if you make all of your money from current income, that is salary, and you make a lot, you're actually paying more taxes than anyone. So mom's a baller. She's a partner in a prestigious law firm making $1 million a year. Dad's a chiropractor, has 3 people working for him. He makes $1.6 million a year, total ballers. In order to make that kind of money, they probably have to live in an urban center in a blue state, where at that level, they're paying 45, 48, sometimes 52% tax rates. But if dad decides to raise capital and buy a bunch of chiropractic clinics and they become investments and he sells them for $50 million, his tax rate plummets. So you don't want to be a super earner. You want to earn enough money to invest so you can become a super.
Now, why are index funds so popular?
Well, first of all, they've become more and more popular. And I don't know that they're so popular. They're not dominant in the market. But because this is something that Jack Bogle created in 1975, that's when he started Vanguard. And he created the first index fund that retail investors, little people like us, could actually buy. And the idea was that the research had indicated then, and it's been confirmed over the 50 years since, that active management, which is paying someone to try to pick the stocks that are going to outperform out of those 3,600, typically doesn't work, and especially doesn't work over the long term. So research says active managers in a given year, somewhere between 25 and 30% of them will outperform the index. But you go out 5 years, that drops to, 10, 15%. By the time you go out 30 years, it's less than 1%, statistically zero.
Use this little bucket of sand here as an analogy for this, because my team brought a bucket of sand to illuminate the power of compounding interest when you invest in these S&P 500 companies. And this glass represents investing 1,000 a month in the S&P 500 over the course of 12 months, starting at the age of 25.
Right.
But if you left it and kept investing at that rate, by the age of 65, it would look like this.
You have Zuma Beach. Oh my God. Thank God that's you.
Jesus Christ. It would look like that. And this is really what you're saying when you're talking about ETFs.
Well, you asked that question about the young man who says, I'm going to wait till I have 500 pounds. I'm going to wait till I have $1 million before I start investing. The way you get £1 million is by investing that 500. We don't believe we're going to get old. We don't recognize how fast time is going to go. We don't appreciate the power of compound interest. Don't focus on your investments. Put it in low cost, low energy ETFs. Start early. You have time. Your advantage when you're young.
When I did, I was a little bit horrified because the results said that on average, it had returned over that 40-year period 11.9%. That is a stunningly high number. And it was not a number I was prepared to put in the book and suggest that anybody could rely on for their future planning. But nevertheless, that was what the market returned over that 40-year period. And this, by the way, was not some golden age. I actually wrote a blog post afterwards called Time Machine and the and the future return of stocks. And the conceit of that blog post is I'm sitting around with some friends in 1975 around the campfire. Somebody says, hey, this guy Jack Bogle just brought out this index fund. I wonder how that's going to work. And I'm like, I'm just back from 2015 in my time machine, and I can tell you exactly what happened. And they go through all the wars, the stagflation, the market crashes, Black Monday in 87, the tech crash, the 0809 debacle, and everybody around the campfire is like, well, glad you told us that. There's no way we're going to be investing in this index fund, let alone the stock market. And of course, the catch is that, but if you had almost 12% a year.
Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, and NVIDIA. Wow. I would have gone up 713%, 873%, 633%, 1,268%. JL, had I put my $3,000 into NVIDIA, I would have gone up 26,209% in 10 years. So fuck your 12%, JL.
That's amazing. And if you had wings, you could fly. So what crystal ball did you have 10 years ago that told you that?
I don't
have one? Well, yeah, obviously, if you knew that was going to happen, if I knew that Bitcoin was going to go from a penny a coin to $100,000, I would have sold everything and gone into Bitcoin. The thing is, you don't know that's going to happen. And there's a lot of stocks that looked every bit as promising as those that you put up 10 years ago that flamed out and went to nothing. You would have wound up broke.
Taught, especially young people, especially men who are more risk aggressive, go all in on something, because the people who are the wealthiest people in the world kind of went all in on something. And what they don't tell you is the moment they have capital, they start diversifying like crazy. So you want to diversify. You don't need to find the needle in the haystack. You can buy the whole haystack. And especially, unfortunately, in the American economy, not as much in the UK economy, it continues to be up and to the right. And the S&P and the NASDAQ are sort of self-filtering mechanisms, because they kick out companies that aren't great and they bring in new ones. They kick out Kodak and they bring in Salesforce. If I had learned that diversification when I was a younger man, I would have saved myself, not only would I have saved myself a lot of economic harm, I would have saved myself a lot of mental anguish. So diversification, and that's one of the key components of my algebra of wealth, diversification, people don't recognize how powerful it is because it sounds boring. And you have people like Bill Ackman saying, it's not concentration, it's
sent
conviction.
You an article recently that the S&P 500 could be its own bubble. Check this out. I mean, this is pretty recent. Bank of America says growth stocks are in a bubble exceeding the .com and Nifty 50 eras, and warns they could take the S&P 500 down 40%. What should I say when he sends me and you articles like this, that, hey, the S&P 500, VTSAX, that could be a bubble and that could crash?
So the first thing you should say to him is, have you read The Simple Path to Wealth? Because if you had, you will understand that is crashes like that are a perfectly normal part of the process. They are to be expected, right? Since I've been investing, and it's been 50 years, God help me, but there have been 3 of them that have gone down more than 50%.
What are the 3 that happened?
So the 3, there was 1974, which is actually the year before I started, but it bled over into 75. There was a tech crash in 2000, 2002. And there was the debacle in 0809. And tech crash went down, I think, 46% and 56% in 0809, right? And of course, everybody thought the damn world was ending, and it didn't. But if you're going to invest in stocks for the long term, you never know when those things are going to happen. We thought they were going to happen in COVID. Some people think they're going to happen triggered by the tariffs. It didn't happen with COVID. Who knows about the tariffs? You're never going to know for sure when they're going to happen or how long they're going to last. You have to tie yourself to the mast and use the opportunity while you have it to acquire shares at bargain price. Tie yourself to the mast and use the opportunity while you have it to acquire shares at bargain prices. Warren Buffett said one time that every now and again there's going to be really dark clouds out there, and it's going to begin raining gold, and you want to be out there filling your buckets, because that's the opportunity to buy at the best possible prices. But the thing is, we don't know exactly when that's going to happen or where those prices are.
Really what I'm hearing from my friends, even though they've read the book, there is an underlying fear of the present moment. You don't get it. This time it's different.org. Right now, Donald Trump is president. He may become president for a third term. World War III may pop off. AI is going to take over. We're going to have an even greater depression, the greatest depression of depressions, the greatest depression of all time. And that's why I need to maybe consider not putting my money into VTSAX or investing at all. What do you say to those people that say, this time it's different? Right now, there's no scarier time to be alive than right now.
So let's take a real life, very recent example of that, right?
Okay.
COVID.
Yes.
All right. Just a few years ago, my social media, my blog was lit up when COVID hit.
Yes, of course.
And they were saying pretty much what you just said. They were saying, JL, I've read The Simple Path to Wealth. I accept it. I buy it 100%. But truly, JL, this time is different.
It is different.
This time is, people are dying.
Airborne virus killing old people.
Yeah. People are dying, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, but countries are shutting down their economies completely. This time, surely it is different.
Right.
And what I said then, and I say now, is that yes and no. This time is different because anything that triggers a crash is by definition different. It's especially tragic that people were dying, but it's not different in what the market is going to do. The market is going to react, it's going to panic, it's going to crash, and sometimes this takes, well, in case of COVID, it took a matter of weeks, but more often it takes months or sometimes even years. It turns around and it continues to set record highs.
The moment you aggregate anything resembling some sort of decent amount of capital, you want to look at it and you want to diversify like crazy. Because if I had just taken a little bit of money off the table and invested in index funds or in real estate or bonds, I would have been so much better off. But everyone's told you can have it all. You can be successful if you just go all in, never give up. Well, actually, the market will trump individual performance every time. And last week, the investment I was most excited about, this healthcare tech startup, great CEO, tier one investors, elbowed my way into the deal. I put $5 million in. I found out last Friday, it's a zero. It just didn't work. Zero, shutting down. But here's the thing. I never invest more than 3% of my net worth now in any one thing. So while it hurts, I have Kevlar in the form of diversification. So I took a bullet to the chest, knocked me off my feet. I get up. I was bummed out for an hour. That was it. Because I never go all in on something. And people are taught, especially young people, especially men who are more risk aggressive, go all in on something because the people who are the wealthiest people in the world kind of went all in on something. And what they don't tell you is the moment they have capital, they start diversifying like crazy.